morning. Is it morning? Yeah, just about 9 minutes left until the end of the morning. Good morning, everybody. And thanks for watching Two Wheels of Rainbow. So, haven't done one of these in a while. My upload schedule is, I suppose, I don't even have an upload schedule, but I haven't uploaded in a long time. So, we'll talk about a few things today. Firstly, obviously, what I'm riding, new bike, and then obviously the thing everybody's talking about at the moment, which is COVID. Today is the 28th of February, Sunday. I just want to talk about a few things that have kind of gone through my mind with the whole COVID thing, and obviously the bike. Talk about the bike first. New bike, picked it up there just after Christmas. It's not new, it's 161, and it's a KTM Super Adventure T. And I wanted the T over the S. I know the S is a newer model, but I wanted the T because I wanted something with spoked wheels. I didn't want alloy wheels. I wanted the power of a 1290, I suppose. Like that kind of 160 horsepower there or thereabouts. And I wanted something with semi-active suspension, so that ruled out the 1290R, the newer R version. And this was kind of the thing that ticked all the boxes, so I went for this 1290T. Very happy with it. Also, actually has a bigger fuel tank than the 1290S, and this bike has a heated passenger seat and a heated pillion seat, should I say, and a heated rider seat and heat grips. The only thing it doesn't have is a quick shifter. Well, I'm going to order one of them, and I've got some luggage on the way. I'll do another video on that when it arrives to see what it's like. But yeah, it's a great bike. Really happy with it. Kind of got this bike because myself and the Grumpy Bike Wizard this year were hoping to go to Norway. We were hoping to get up to Nordkapp the whole way up. There's that dog going mental. Look, he is not happy with me. Oh, and he just doesn't like things that have two wheels. But yeah, we did the whole. We were planning on doing the whole Norway thing this year, but I mean, it's fairly obvious now at this stage, at the 28th of February, that is not going to be happening this year, and we get to the reasons why in a minute. But yeah, apart from that, it has a bigger fuel tank. It has, it's got everything. It's really it's a really good bike. One thing I've noticed about this is if you turn the traction control off on this bike, it wheelies in every fucking gear. Like it's ridiculous. The front just lifts on it. She's very tail heavy. So I'm just going out for a spin today. I haven't done many videos at all because I can't get out for a spin. To stay, roughly within your 5k or get €100 fine, which is a load of shit, really, to be honest. But I suppose it's necessary. Here's the guards up here now. I think, is it? Is there guards up here? There is. I saw flashing blue lights. Yeah, so the reason I haven't been out for many spins at all is because, the elephant in the room, COVID. We're coming up to a year in now. Next, we went into lockdown, I think, in March, and we're at the end of February now. This is the last weekend of February, and come Monday, the kids are going back to school, and February is over. And we're a whole year in now we're nearly a whole year in now at this stage of COVID. And it has been a shitty year. Shitty 12 months. There's another lad behind me here. Like, really shitty. It's all grand by the looks of it. And that's another thing. There's guards everywhere now. Checkpoints all over the place. But yeah, it's been a shitty year. Thought I'd just give an update video, what I'm doing, how I'm going on. But obviously, as I said, the Norway trip isn't going to happen because the vaccine rollout is just not happening fast enough. There's no way we'll be vaccinated, and I mean by July, And I mean, we need to make a decision what's going to happen. I think 3 or 4 weeks before that, because that's when the bikes need to go. So you'll be talking the beginning of June, and there's absolutely no chance of us of the restrictions being lifted, such to the extent that we can actually go to we can go to Norway. But COVID, yeah. So we're 1 year in now. I just think the whole, it's hard to believe that, somebody consuming a wild animal in a certain part of the world, and infection spreading has actually brought the world and its economy to its knees effectively. And it's like, if you'd have said to people in 2019 or 2018 that you wouldn't be allowed to go further than 5k from your home, and you wouldn't you wouldn't be allowed to see anybody or only people within inside your media bubble, and the level of restrictions that are being imposed upon us now at this stage, they'd laugh at you. I mean, it'd be like, it's just so hard to believe. I know it's become part of daily life now, and wearing a mask and all that crack is the thing, but it's so hard to believe that this is where we're at. And a lot of people, the big sale, the big sale, should I say, that's been put to the people at the moment is at the end is in sight. The vaccines have been rolled out now, and things are starting to move along, and everything's going to be good again, and that's all great. But I mean, the thing about all that is that that is vaccinating is definitely a stepping stone, like here's more guards. Look, these are stopping people now for. They're stopping the cyclists and all. Look. They're stopping everyone. This person's getting a talking to. How you doing, guard? Just got out for a spin. Maybe 5k. Yeah. I won't be getting off the bike anyway, so thanks. Talk to you now. There you are now. They're stopping everybody. They're stopping cyclists. They're stopping cars. They're stopping bikes. Don't want people coming up here that don't need to be up here, I suppose. Anyway, back to the vaccines. The vaccines have been rolled out, and I mean, if you look at countries like, I suppose, Israel and the US and the UK and even Chile have kind of started ramping up their vaccination programs, and the graphs are looking positive. Ireland and in fact the rest of the EU's, I suppose, vaccination progress is abysmally slow. It's very, very poor. I mean, at the moment they're giving a headline figures of how many people have been vaccinated, which I think is up to 150 something thousand or whatever it is today. But if you actually look at the number of people being vaccinated each day, it's about 4,000. Okay, and now that will ramp up, one would hope, with supply being made available to the EU. And I think that's the big problem at the moment. It's that the EU have made a deal with the pharmaceutical companies about what they're going to supply, how they're going to supply it, and when they're going to supply it, and how much it's going to cost. And based on that, I think it's kind of clear now at the moment that the EU got a very good deal on the cost of the vaccines, because we went in together as a bloc. But if somebody else comes along with more money, the pharmaceutical companies will facilitate them first, as is the case with Israel, who are nearly, I think that they've got something like every 80 out of 100 people has received at least one shot. So I mean, they're close to the end now. They're nearly out of it, and they've achieved that in a month or 2 months, should I say. whereas we're doing 4,000 a day. Now that equates about 1,000 a day for a population of 4.5 million. That equates about, I suppose, 1,000 a day. Even if they doubled it, all right, to get everybody vaccinated, you're still talking, another year and a half for that to be completed. And people keep saying the end is in sight. The end is in sight. It's actually not. Like, unless somebody decides, a medical person, a high up medical person decides, right, enough people have been vaccinated now, such to the extent that we can ease some of or a lot of the restrictions. This is we're not going to be getting out of this anytime soon. Look at that fog. That's crazy. We're not going to be getting out of this anytime soon. I mean, myself and Grumpy Bike Racer are now thinking about doing a trip around Ireland this year instead. But I mean, the likelihood is we won't be doing that, and because everything will still be locked down. And even at that, I mean, the whole other country is going to be doing holidays in Ireland this year. I mean, the prices are going to be through the roof. That being said, I think the lockdowns that we have here are a little bit more severe than in the rest of Europe. And, there are a number of reasons for that. And I suppose government policy is a big part of that. And, the government's reaction speed on various, I suppose, things that have occurred, or various events, and the government's ability to react to those events and put in legislation to stop X, Y, or Z happening. And also, I suppose, the level of compliance from the public is a big factor in the spread of the virus. And there seems to be an awful lot of people who are refusing to comply. We're not very compliant at all. I'm staying kind of within my foot. I'll be going about maybe 150 metres, 200 metres outside my 5k when I do the loop of Holt. But I mean, apart from that, I'll be in it. There's people I know who are, this weekend are literally on bikes, are literally chancing going up to Wicklow, because they've just felt that this is a load of shit and I'm not doing this. And if it's €100 fine, that's grand, €100. So what? What is going on with this person? Oh, they're turning into this place, nursing home, and they don't care. And yesterday there was a protest in town, an anti-lockdown protest, and I think people are getting to the end of their tether now with lockdown, because you can do nothing. Nothing is what you can do. You can go out for a walk, that's it. Or if you're like me, you can go out on your bike and stay within 5 kilometres. But there's literally nothing else you can do. And, I think the government's handling of it has been, poor. Very poor at best. There's things like, I know a lot of people compare Ireland to New Zealand. We're both island nations with a similar enough kind of population and a similar level of, I suppose, how developed a nation we are. And my sister lives in New Zealand, and they've been COVID-free now for months. And the way they did it was, very simply, they just pulled up the drawbridge. That was it. Nobody can come in and out. Anybody coming in has to spend 2 weeks in a hotel at their own expense. And if it was absolutely necessary to travel, then yeah, you could travel, but you have to do that, enforced isolation at I suppose what you would call a government funded or government agreed, facility, I suppose, or government, what would you call it, at a government approved hotel. You have to spend there, and there was armed guards in those places as well. And there actually is a case of one person trying to leave the hotel, and he actually had COVID, and he actually spread the virus in New Zealand after he left the hotel. And the thing is, if you get on a plane, it doesn't matter if you're wearing a mask. If you get on a plane and one person on that plane has COVID, the rest of the people on the plane are going to have COVID, and that's the problem with travel. The air is recirculated around in the planes, and can't filter out the virus, and it's if one person has COVID on a plane, everybody will get it, and that's just the way it is. And that's why that's the problem with air travel, and long-term train travel, or any public transport for that matter. But yeah, the government's handling has been poor. They've been so slow to react to various events. It's kind of hard to believe. We should have pulled up, like, we're an island nation. We should have pulled up the drawbridges, come to some agreement with Northern Ireland, and pulled up the drawbridges. Once it was kind of realised, hang on, this is actually serious. This is really serious. When you seen what was going on in Italy around this time last year, anybody coming back from Europe should have been stopped and told, listen, hindsight's a great thing and all, but we could have stemmed it or slowed the spread of it, I suppose. But I mean, now we're in a position where we're only doing that now. We're only doing the drawbridge thing now, and even at that, it's only for a certain number of countries. So there are certain countries that are exempt from this, which is absolutely ridiculous. And there are people who are still travelling now. Like, I know the airports are fairly empty and stuff like that, but there are people who are, they're still going. They want to go on their holiday to their holiday home. And geez, look at that pothole. They want to go on their holiday to their holiday home in Spain, and they want to go, and that's that. And they're going. It's only now that the government have put in, non-essential travel fine. When realistically, it should have been in from early around this time last year. The reaction speeds have been slow, and because they've been slow, they've given the virus a chance to spread. Because our public, that's another thing when people compare Ireland to New Zealand, is that I've been to New Zealand and everybody is very compliant over there. They are extremely compliant with the rules, and Irish people are not compliant with the rules. I've seen people posting stuff on Instagram about how they were so clever by booking three separate tables when in three different pubs to get round the 90-minute rule so that they could go out and drink, and they thought they were so clever and great and smart for doing that. But in the actual fact, you're actually being a tick. You're being a dope for doing that, because you're deliberately circumventing the restrictions that are put in place to try and stop the spread of the virus. And because you want to have a drink or go out, you're prepared to circumvent that and put everybody else at risk. And every single person is the same. Like they're like, I'll be grand. I won't catch the virus. What are the chances of me catching the virus? And the problem with this virus is that you catch it, you don't know you have it, and it's so contagious. You can infect somebody else without even realising you have it yourself, because the onset of the symptoms is slightly delayed. Our public is not compliant enough to obey the rules, which is, there's other things as well, like, about people there's people posting stories up on Instagram I see now some of the days, about having parties in their houses and stuff like that. They have their friends over and they're drinking, and they're not supposed to be doing that, and it's clear now, and based on the protests in town yesterday, that people are fed up with this now. There's more and more people now are going to start breaking the rules, because the sun is out, and summer's on its way, and people don't want another year of this. I think, as I said already, the end is not in sight. We're being told it is by our elected officials and the health advisors and stuff like that. They keep telling us, yeah, the end is in sight. Vaccines are on the way. They're only managing 4,000 a day. That's nothing. Our country is 4.5 million people. That's 3 years to do the whole lot. And even if they manage to double it, that's still a year and a half to get everybody done. And there's no way they'll double it. Anybody who lives in Ireland knows that things are always left half baked here. And I think this is kind of a wake-up call, I suppose, for our politicians. I think we actually need another election, because I know we only had an election, but the modus operandi of an Irish politician is scandal is going to happen and we're going to be found out. And the trick is for any politician is to ride out the storm, because Irish people forget. Right? We forget a lot. There's people who said they'd never vote Fianna Fáil again after the crash in 2008, and in the last election vote Fianna Fáil. It's they've forgotten. And even in the election prior to that, actually, they've forgotten that Fianna Fáil was the party that brought us here, to economic ruin, I suppose. And they forget. But the problem with this is, and with COVID is that you can't forget, because it's not going away. And I mean, the politicians have, I think Stephen Donnelly is the minister. He was on the television the night last week, and he literally didn't have a clue what he was talking about. There's been mixed messages coming from all parts of the government. Nobody knows what's going on, what the plan is, what we're doing. It's just, and the government's, I suppose, the Irish politicians, I suppose, method of doing things is just ride out the storm and wait for it to go away. It's not going to happen, because this is not going away. I'm actually considering, when the UK is going quite ahead, when they open up, believe it or not, I actually have a British passport. When the UK opens up its vaccinations to people in my group, I would say I will probably head up to Northern Ireland to get a vaccine, because I can't wait another year and a half for this to come to its final resolution. Even if you look around now, there's a lot of people out. I'm okay. I'm on a bike and I've got a helmet on. Those people have masks on and they're all outside. And a lot of them are within 2 meters of each other. The only good thing to come from this is the fact that people like me have proven to the companies we work for that it is possible for me to work from home indefinitely. And I don't actually need to be in an office, because I can do my job from home and I can do it well. I work in IT, and we've achieved an awful lot this year from a technical perspective. I'll go back into the office, I suppose, from a social standpoint, to meetings and to put, see people's faces and stuff like that. But will I be going back 5 days a week after this? Nope, not a chance. Not a chance I'll be going back 5 days a week. I don't need to. It was in the news just there as well last week that Lloyd, what the fuck is this lad doing? Jesus Christ. Lloyds and HSBC and Barclays are reducing their rent, or reducing their, I suppose, occupancy on 40% of a lot of their offices, because they know themselves that people aren't going to be coming back. And why would you? If you could work from home. Work from home is great. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I do have videos that I've made that I need to edit up a bit to actually videos I've taken test drives on a couple of bikes that I need to do the editing on. So let's see if I can get those done soon.